Alrighty, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. Let's go ahead and jump on back and take a look at what happened here yesterday. We're gonna take a look-see here. So again, some really great opportunities yesterday. We were expecting the market to continue to push. If you were in our pre-market, you should remember that we had no clear signs for the bears up off the highs that we were printing as we were coming to the open, except for, of course, some shorter time frame bearish signals we were getting as we were pushing right into a major ledge in the market here at 61.18. But we were expecting the market to try and continue to push. Of course, the caveat or the opposite side of that was if price was going to pull back below VWAP, back below Hopeful, and back below the high of the day before, we might have to flip our hats, right? So let's take a look and see what happened here. In the pre-market, you guys remember I got short right off the roadmap level. I showed you exactly why this had a lot of clues for a pullback. Got filled, got maybe 2 or 3 ticks of heat, and got my first couple contracts off, 2 points, 4 points, 5 points. Fortunately, did not follow through down to my other targets below. And that was actually a clue for anyone who is looking to buy, because the bulls were not able to get, or I'm sorry, the bears were not able to pull price back below the 200 here. So I was short as the market opened. I had already made my money basically, and then we started holding right off the 200 here. This right here was a beautiful, basically a triple bottom, if you want to call it that, on a very short time frame. And then right here, a nice bullish signal that had you have taken it, price never really broke the low, and that was it for the entire day. So basically the low of the day was the 200 moving average on the pullback from the expected resistance area, right? So, you know, getting long should have been what I should have done, but I was hoping for a deeper pullback into 61.05 at least, and then I could have gotten a nice 10-pointer off and then left a runner in case we had some type of meltdown. So I was hoping for the short side, but it was very clear the bulls were defending, and then from there we got the breakout. So I made decent money. I didn't get a friggin' 20-pointer out of it, but I made decent money in a number of accounts, so I just basically called it a day. But as you can see, as we start breaking out in the direction that we were expecting the market to go, you had an opportunity here on that first pullback, very aggressive trade, right? This is the most aggressive trade that I teach, trading off the fast moving average in a trending market with a divergence on the test. So right there, that is the first opportunity as we broke out, unless you bought down here off the 200. Then they come up and pull back, and then here you got yourself a near picture perfect buy opportunity. So they pulled back right into the morning resistance, came right to the 200 moving average to the tick there with a big bullish divergence. And as we tick down, we got that first test was a bullish divergence, second and third test right into the 200, all showing bullish divergence. And that should have been a pretty clear pattern right there off the test of the 200 to give you faith that this is most likely going to try to come up to our next roadmap level, given that it was so strong in that direction. And sure enough, that's what we got. So that, my friends, was, in my opinion, the best trade of the day. And it was about, even if you bought the roadmap level, you only took on 1 point of risk. So a point of risk gave you a trade 10 points to the upside, right? So they come up, and then the next most notable pullback happens off the next roadmap level, just like it did before the open, right? And so if you were to zoom out and look at how this whole day played out, we push all the way up, actually pull back just in front of the first roadmap level, push all the way up. This was our swing level that made a lot of sense for resistance, but they pushed right through in that overnight session, came right to the first roadmap level there, pulled back, held the 200, came to the next roadmap level, pulled back. And now back here, as price started pulling back, this would have been a great additional opportunity. It just never made it back down there. So whether you would have bought on the bullish divergence down here, it's kind of, you know, you could argue in the middle of nowhere here. But okay, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? It doesn't come right to the level, but you did get the opportunity here. Again, came to the tick right up. I didn't really point out here that we got another bearish divergence to the tick test of the roadmap level up here, basically a double top, and then we pulled back. So great short opportunity. And then on the way back up, and actually I should mention here, this first pullback, one tick in front of the level, one tick in front of the level there, this would have been a great buy. It just never made it into the 200. So you would have had to kind of anticipate it and get in early, accepting a little bit more risk there, and that's not something I do. But you can see here, quadruple bottom, again, on a very short time frame, admittedly, but divergence on every test, and we get 2 ticks from the 200 here for the pop to retest the roadmap level, right? So that, again, not saying that was an opportunity because we never came into it. But again, very close. And then we get this nice healthy pullback. Let's see if we can bring this in. I would not be surprised if that was a near perfect 38 to 50% retracement of the daily push, right? Came right up 50% to the tick. Retraces. Again, bullish divergence there if you're willing to trade over in here. So it wasn't in the middle of nowhere. It actually was a perfect 50% retrace of the morning leg. And then we popped on out. So from there, kind of, if you're playing in the weeds here, you kind of could have got that little pullback to the FMA and you would have caught the push. But again, when you're over here, that's a very, very aggressive trade, right? So it breaks out. Again, we get a test in the 200 on the pullback, but it doesn't have a bullish divergence, so I wouldn't have taken that trade. But a nice parry right off of it 2 times. And then they come down and there was a big bearish divergence as price was starting to fail. So right there, testing the 200, again, doesn't break it by more than 2 points. And you would have got a nice little scalp from 31 down to 28. Again, not a huge sexy trade, but you should have taken profit here, expecting that this could bounce, especially because it was testing into the previous ledge here in a very strong market, right? And if you did, you would have made your money and it came right back to your entry. Right, and then at the end of the day here, it just starts to go sideways and it just kind of meanders back and forth. No real rhyme or reason to anything. And then we get the breakdown. So on the breakdown here, that was kind of your final picture perfect opportunity to get short right off of the 200 moving average and ride it down to the next expected support for just under 10 points, right? And if you held on for a full 10 pointer, you got it down here, right? From 61.26 to 61.16, 10 points in that last extended trading hour. And that was how the cookie crumbled. So again, some pretty good opportunities. Got a little choppy towards kind of the end of the day there after we made the high for the day. And then as we came into the overnight session last night, what do you know? The first roadmap level being the close of the day before, pull back. And then right here, 61.18, the level that I shorted before the market opened yesterday and got a near perfect entry and pullback, it was then the resistance in the overnight session. So in Globex here, if you were watching this and seeing resistance, 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 and all these little micro divergences over in here, and maybe even on the 3 minutes, some divergence showing for the bears, might have been a good play to try it short. It tested it to the tick 3 times, and then you got the pullback. So there was a good opportunity there to try a short, especially here, where you had all this bearish divergence off that final test of the level. So good short opportunity last night from the roadmap level again with 0 risk, and you got yourself a near 10-point pullback. Actually, it did go more than 10 points. Right now, actually, maybe 20 points from there. So beautiful short. Again, here's another example of a roadmap level holding to the tick and then going more than 10 points. So again, another 100x trade if you were to look at it from how much risk you took to how much you actually gained. Then on the way down here, it does bounce basically off the high the day before there, or sorry, maybe that's 50% of the day before. But then you get 2 bearish divergences on the test of the back end of VWAP again. So the first test, a little scalp from there, gave you 5 points. And then on the second test with the bearish divergence from the high, failing back down, you could have got in and then grabbed the rest of the sell-off. It even came right back to the VWAP, gave it a kiss, and then failed from there. So couple good opportunities there. And then what do you know? We bounce right around the roadmap level. In this case, not holding it to the tick or within a tick or two, but again, not surprising that we get an overnight sell-off from the roadmap level at 18, come right to the roadmap level at 05 here, and then find the next bounce, right? So still basically holding the level. Remember that these scaffolding levels, which is amazing because they work to the tick for rotations like we see right here, are basically a higher time frame ledge of support and resistance. So really this level is more like a kind of a zone, right? From about 2 points above and below it, right in that, say, 3-point, 4-point pocket, because we're basing this level off hourly, 4-hour time frame rotations. So still basically nailed it, right? And then in the overnight here, you see another bearish divergence off VWAP for the pullback. Again, another little scalp. Bearish divergence, test of the 200, nice little scalp. Bullish divergence off the holy orange power level here just about an hour ago. And now here we are coming into the open. What do you know? Rejection right in front of 18 again. And now here we are pulling back right into our VWAP. So let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames now and see what they have to say for this morning.